After changing the way we travel, shop, order food, tech-based startups, it seems, are all set to change the way we bank. And unwary banks are conceding their territory to various such startups, more popularly known as fintech startups. They are learning fast to leverage banks' weaknesses in their favor and offer improved services and ease of use, not by imitating banks, but by creating a new layer in the form of mostly mobile phone-based apps on top of the existing infrastructure. Although it will be a bit too soon to say that startups are replacing banks as we know them, it could certainly be said that the future expansion and growth of fintech startups will come at the cost of banks. Hello and welcome. Join us on Startup Wednesday as we explore how startups are changing the banking and finance landscape.
Upasana, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Well, I've been coming to this office for quite some time now, and it seems, it looks as roughly everything is same, but in terms of the number of people, there are a lot more people now. And is it the result of, the expansion perhaps that you're looking at, and also a result of the $50 million, funding? What are your ambitions?
Expansion at MobiKwik is not about number of employees. It's more about how many consumers have we touched, which is about 32 million right now.
Right.
How many retailers can you pay at MobiKwik with, which is about 1 lakh right now. And so, so the business is booming, we are growing, and the reason for that is very simple. India is still such an under-penetrated market from a financial services point of view that it's a long road. It's a long road.
To begin with, let me just ask you that right away. Do you believe that at some point in time, fintech startups actually have the potential and can replace banks as we have known them?
So we are a very large market. It's 1.2 billion people in India. And of those, the people who actively bank, that number is still a very small number. The number is still less than 500 million. So I think banks, traditionally as we know them, will continue to grow. New age banks like digital banks will also come into the play, and fintech companies will also create space for themselves. The reason for that is very simple. It's a very large market. It's
Right.
a huge pie.
All of them together, I'm not talking about a particular startup for that matter. So all of them put together, like a school of piranhas. You're talking about cannibalizing, let me use another metaphor. So like a school of piranhas will eat away, their share of the pie.
No, I still want to tell you that it isn't their share of the pie that new age fintech companies are going after. I'm not interested in the same user who already has 3 bank accounts. What will he do?
Right.
He has minimal value for a company like ours. There might be some early adopters, well-banked users who are using wallet services like ours today, but from a long-term opportunity, and we are here to build a long-term business, the market is really 1 billion people. Of that, like we all know, there are 9 million credit card users, there are some 40 million debit card active users, and there are some 150 million or 200 million bank accounts that are active. Everybody else, it's a green field. It's a large green field. Nobody has taken that pie. And please remember that all these fintech companies have come around in the last, 3, 4?
3, 4 years,
and
yes.
for people like us, last 6, 7 years, 10 years. It is up to them to try new models instead of trying the same traditional model, which is not really going to work for India, because within India, there are many Indias, as we all
Right.
know, right? So different models will need to evolve in order to tap into 800 million people. I believe that wallet companies or other forms of financial services companies, microfinance companies will reach into pockets of users that no bank has tapped into yet. And I also believe that there is enough room for all of these businesses to grow very fast and to thrive.
And perhaps it's just how it is. I mean, you have Ola and Uber, but you also have, the Kala Pila taxi. You have Flipkart, Paytm, and Snapdeal, but people are still going to the malls, shopping, and the chota dukaan jo mohalle mein hota hai, wo abhi bhi hai. So in that sense, there is room for everyone, like you were saying.
If you look at Reserve Bank of India's latest vision document, it talks about how India, being such a large democracy, we are a large market.
Right.
For likes of Amazon, for the likes of Uber, we are a large market. We are a large open market.
Right.
And in a country like ours, 95% of payments are happening via cash.
Right.
The government is fully behind the fact that we need to become cashless. We need to digitize payments. And that is just the beginning of financial services, right? How is this cashless economy going to come into play? It's going to come into play with a lot of new technology getting used. It will be used by startups like ours. It will be used by existing large conglomerates, it will be used by banks, by microfinance companies, small banks, whatnot. All of us are going to have to contribute to get India to a cashless economy, and within that, everybody has a role to play. So what we are doing from our point of view, we started off with a wallet platform on a mobile app. The idea being, why are there so many users in India who, although they are banked or carded, they are not using them for doing a digital transaction? So we figured out that it seems that the user experience via a net banking flow or via a card payment flow is not very easy in India, especially because there is a second factor authentication also. So we created a very simple app and we made the wallet checkout system so easy. It's dead simple. They may be starting off with a recharge or a bill payment. Then we try to show them, look, you can also order pizza, by the way.
Right.
Now we are trying to get them to, okay, now you know how to do digital transactions offline. You know, by the way, at your nearby store where you're buying bread and eggs, you can also pay with MobiKwik.
Creating a new layer of services, more efficient, more
Correct.
convenient, on top of the existing infrastructure.
Now, the next and the very large pool of users is who don't even have that.
Right.
And that's where cash comes into play. So if people have smartphones, which we
Yes.
know how many million people have, how are they going to use it? They need to load money. How will they load money? It's going to be cash. So we needed to solve the problem of how to add cash into the wallet. So in order to address that, we've done two things. We've come up with our own cash proprietary pickup service. It's almost like cash pickup on demand, just like you have an Uber on demand.
Yeah.
You request from the app, you need the cash to be picked up. Within 20 minutes, the guy is at your location. He will verify himself that he's a MobiKwik employee. He'll take your money, he'll update your wallet balance immediately. On the other side, we can't offer this service yet all over India. Like, I don't have this service in Ropar or in Nagaland. However, I have 100,000 outlets all over India where you can go and deposit cash. These are our ways to get the real cash user to start becoming a digitally transacting.
So at least when it comes to financial inclusion, fintech startups are helping perhaps, because they have a more wider reach and the kind of services that they're offering.
And that is our
Easy.
mandate. I mean, why do we have a license from Reserve Bank of India? The license is for the same thing.
Right.
Get more users
Yes.
to become digitally paying users, reduce cash in the economy.
MobiKwik was in the race to get the payment bank's license as well. It did not get it the last time. We sure wish that it does the next time the opportunity presents itself. Are you still in the race? Would you say that?
Of course, we are in the race. So I think last year when a lot of companies applied, about 11 people got it. I think
Yes.
3 or 4 have actually given it back this
Yes.
year. So that raises a huge question on whether the math or the business economics work under the payment bank construct. However, I want to inform you that our application was never rejected. So it continues to be in the race, and we'll see when the next round of licenses come around. That said, we are interested to become a large player in the fintech space. To that extent, we are already starting to work on all the services on top of the wallet platform, whether it is lending, whether it's investing, whether it's insurance. And for all of these, it's possible to partner with banks and NBFCs and funds to offer that to our wallet users
Right.
without
And I'm
having
looking
a
forward
license.
to that kind of a partnership simply because you need the kind of licenses which are required to be able to offer such services. Otherwise, if you look at the platform and if you look at your own capabilities, you're quite capable of offering them, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, for example, under the payment bank license, you can't do lending.
Right.
So, you have to get a separate NBFC lending license in order to do it. Now, our point of view is very simple. We have a large base of users. We know their transaction history. Let's say some of them do want a line of credit. There's no reason why I should wait to get a license. I can partner with somebody who already has a license. They don't have users. They're looking for users to give loans to. I have users. I have history.
Do you believe that regulatory framework as it is tilted, of course, heavily in favor of banks?
No, I don't think so. See, if I look at, so I came back to India in the end of 2008, and since then almost every year I'm seeing more and more new types of products or licenses being enabled by Reserve Bank of India.
Right.
All the vision documents or the policies that are coming around, every year they're becoming more and more progressive.
Right.
So I strongly believe that our regulator is actually far ahead of its times as compared to many other countries who are at this situation. So
That's good
for
to hear.
example, China was not as open, and it still doesn't seem to be in the fintech space when
Right.
they were, booming like our sector.
Right. Right. So, I mean, that's definitely good to hear, and especially from you that, when it comes to regulators, our regulators have been doing a fine job. Thanks for talking to us, Upasana. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you.
Upasana feels while fintech startups are certainly offering services traditionally offered by banks in a more efficient way, banks don't face an immediate threat, and that does seem to be the most sensible thing to say. It is time for us to slip into a break, but if you're looking to borrow money or have surplus and want to know about how you could earn good returns on it, remain with us and catch the story of another fintech startup, Faircent, on the other side.